Hi everyone, my name is Oluwatosin Samuel. I'm a speculator in the financial market. Please take a moment to read through the introduction and disclaimer, even as shown on the screen. And with that said, let us go into the agenda of the day, which is market review and analysis, just my documentation of the market. And at first, let's look at the dollar index here. And I'm sure we know that the dollar is in a strong downtrend. It has been since the start of the year. And last month we did have a retracement of the previous month range. I retraced into the um, 61.8 to 78.6 level of the Fibonacci before we got a rejection. But generally last month we still closed an inside candle. But this month, as we opened for the month of June, even on the very first day, we had a strong push downward on the first day, and we did reach the previous month's low, which is May's low. And since then, we've consolidated around the value area low for the previous month before we had a push down. And we had a gap down on the dollar index futures when the new contract opened on Thursday. These are things we should take note of. I'm going to tell us what I expect for next week, even after uh, I've, I've just unloaded the chart to us. And last in the month of May as well, for the pound futures, which is what we are currently on, we did have a retracement up to the 38.2 and 50% level before we had a rally, a continuous rally upward, a continued rally upward. And we see that we shifted value above, no inside candle for the pounds. I shifted value above and we closed outside value. And since the start of the month, even in the very first week, we rallied upward and traded into the previous month's high. And it just seems like we have established a value higher as well. And on the DXY, we are establishing, it seems like we are establishing value lower, which is it's in a good correlation with the pounds because it is to go in negation of the direction of the US dollars. So value shift seems to have shifted upward. So this is one thing I want us to take note of. And for gold, gold, the perhaps the strongest safe haven asset, we see that last month we had a retracement, a deep retracement on gold futures into the 60 to 70, 61.8 to 78.6 Fibonacci level, and we traded into the value area low for the month of April, which is where we did get that rejection of lower prices and then a push upward. But generally last month we closed inside, we closed the candle, last month's candle and inside candle. But this week, as we continue to push higher and value shifted high, we had a trade. We had a push into the high of the inside candle, which is the high for the month of May. And this is also backed by the fact that there's geopolitical tension in the east between Israel and Iran. So gold is still considered is still perhaps the strongest safe haven asset in the world. And on Nasdaq, we see that Nasdaq shifted value after this huge sell-off. After the inauguration we had since February, we had this buyback, in which we have value shifting upward and no retracement at all on the at least no substantial retracement on the monthly time frame. And then we seem to have established value upward on Nasdaq, but we are trading within this range, which is the value area, which is correct to trading. And that is how the market still is for now. I'll tell us my observation using the last candle after this. So on Bitcoin, Bitcoin, I really thought we are going to push into May's high because value shifted upward for last month, no substantial retracement, and this month we had a retracement into the 50 to 61.8% Fibonacci retracement level, and we did have this buyback from the value area low from last month. This is something I was monitoring, and when we closed the candle on Monday, I thought, oh, we are going to push into May's high, but that is not the case, as there was a sell-off in risk asset like Nasdaq and Bitcoin, and especially on Friday, due to the fact that they are considered risk assets and there's geopolitical tension. So people are more like in a risk off scenario. So pumping money into safe haven asset like dollar and gold. I don't know if this will continue. It depends on what happens on Monday. But I'll be dropping I'll be updating the information here even as the as we progress. I'm going to drop the update on my Telegram group because I will have time to make videos like this. And very quickly, that's the daily time frame for us. Let's look at the structure on the 4-hour time frame and 1-hour time frame on the CFD chart. So we have this, in most of you have seen, we have this triple top formation, which is very visible on the 4-hour here, a triple top formation, and also there seems to be a trend line, active trend line here, and also there's a channel of some sort that may track here on the 4 hours time frame. You can clone this and put it somewhere around here. You see that there's this active channel on the DXY. So these are some of the things to monitor. So generally we are still, if nothing changes, if the tensions will go down in the east, I'm expecting that we'll resume the downward push on the US dollars. But the economic outlook may change everything. On pounds, we have this upward trend line, which is the direction of the trend. But I also noticed that we are having an upper resistance here, and the dollar at a particular degree. So I'll be tracking this as well for next week on the 4-hour time frame. It's just an upper resistance here, and it's called the three drive or something. There's something like that, three upward or downward drive. There's something like that. So this is something to track alongside the upper trend line as well. On gold, we see that we are trading upward on gold, and we see the three upward drive did form on gold on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then we had a strong push upward. I don't know if we are going to get the same on the pounds here, but we recovered with a 4-hour engulfing candle. So I'm just monitoring that. And the other thing is that we can mirror this trend line on gold and put it somewhere around there to form some sort of channel. So these are the structures we have to be aware of. In the Nasdaq, you see that there was this strange candle. It's not present in the NQ1, which is the Nasdaq futures. Also, there was this strange candle on by 11 p.m. When the market opened on Friday, and that was because of the attack. And I also noted that there's this double bottom or equal lows. It's a high low here on the CFD chart, but if you look at the Nasdaq futures, it's actually relatively equal lows. I a line here. See that 21,471.0 is also the same low. So we have equal lows on the Nasdaq futures. So this is something that ICTGs that we like to trade through. So we have a trade through here and then an acceptance or reversal of higher to higher prices. And also still talking about structures, we have this a wedge that was broken on Thursday. This seeming wedge that I've been tracking, a rising wedge. So we did have this rising wedge, and if I want to be more granular in the detail, I can redraw it as such, and redraw it like this. So we broke out of the wedge. There might be expectation of lower prices because of a possible risk of scenario because of the rising geopolitical tension in the East. But that is something we just have to track, the fact that there's this equal lows here. Bitcoin traded downward, as we know, after a very good Monday. We had a triple top as well, triple top formation on the daily time frame. This is Monday, this is Tuesday, this is Wednesday, and then we had this trade downward. And since then we have been trading downward. And this did not just happen, but there are many people who consider this block a supply zone. Some will see a fair value gap here, which are correct, or some will even draw a resistance zone here. It's all correct. Just like I spoke, as I said in my introduction, there is no strategy that works 100%. Knowing when to apply the strategy is just the real thing. So we have this triple top, or perhaps equal highs on Bitcoin. So it is something to monitor. It is something to monitor. So now going very quickly into what I think or my forecast for next week. I like to do this on a 30 minutes time frame, and we'll consider some possibilities. The triple top, like I said, for the index did not just happen at any level. It happened at the month's opening gap, which is very, very significant. See the first top here, second top, and the third top, all on the month opening gap. And then we have this trade downward. And since then we have trade downward here. And on Friday, because of the geopolitical tension, we had a run to safe haven. And we see that the first 1.5 hours here, there was a buy. It was a buyout on the US dollar, and since then we have been trading sideways. But one thing I want us to notice is that we shifted value upward. Value shifted upward for the day. We had a rejection at the contract opening gap, which happened on Thursday. And since then we have been trading a little bit sideways. So my expectation is that if we do have a breakout of the value area low here, we might retest the previous day low on Monday. Or if we do have a crop to acceptance, or even we trade higher into the value area for the month. And let me show us this on the daily time frame. Where is okay? If we do have a trade higher to acceptance back into this value area, we may have a trade upward. We should look at rejection in PPOP and also the value area here and the gap, the month opening gap of rejection previously, and also the VPOC. Those are very, very important places where we should be looking into. So ideally on Monday, I'll be looking at the value area here. I will open up and I will trade through or to them. That is something I'll be looking at for the pounds. I mentioned that we had this rising, this upper resistance forming, and we did have a shift lower in value. It's been a while. Okay, sometimes last week we had a shift lower as well. That be shift lower on pounds. We still have a shift in value lower on pounds. So I'm going to look at if we can push up and push above this contract opening gap here, because there was a new contract as well on the pound futures on Friday. And this gap, I even thought we'll push into this gap on Friday to reject from. I wanted to take a scalp short here, but we didn't get that. So I'll be looking at this contract opening gap on the 6B1 column, which is the pound futures on Monday. But generally, I believe if we go over this, we could have a much bigger trade upward, even into 2022's IA. But we should be careful because we did form an engulfing candle on Friday, and this is a non-textbook bearish engulfing candle, but we still have a pocket to support price. We have value really to support price. But if those fails, we might trade low on pounds as well, because then we have a boost for the US dollars, still being considered a safe haven asset. And if there's a boost for the US dollars, we have a sell-off in the pounds. So gold is considered a safe haven asset. So I believe this asset is safe. I believe we'll continue trading upward. And when we are to use Fibonacci, I really don't expect that we may get an acceptance or even a rejection of lower prices at people that very really low, and the London low here. I expect that we are going to get a push upward on gold, which will be our the anticipated move next week, even if the tension does hit up into a pre-high and make a new all-time high. That will be my prediction for gold. I don't expect that will push very low. If we start pushing, I don't think this. But if we push lower, I'm expecting that we'll have a rejection of lower prices and then a push back upward on gold. So that will be my outlook for gold for next week. I don't expect that we'll breach this Friday's low. But if we breach Friday's low, it may actually trade lower. It may trade lower because that will mean that things are cooling down fast. And for the Nasdaq I expect a sideways trade, or perhaps a push lower, a sideways trade or a push lower. We could also push higher as well, but if the tension continue to rise and uh, people continue to go risk off mode, there may be a sell in risk asset like Nasdaq and Bitcoin. That is the danger right now. But if there's a cool off in the geopolitical tension in the east, we will have a resumption of the risk sentiment. But for now, and I do believe that we are going to have a trade into this relatively low lows sometimes next week. So this is one of the lows to look out for. I've not tried to spot volume spike, but I'll try to do that and post it on the Telegram group. So I expect that it will push downward. This will be a very important level to monitor. But if you break through, we may definitely go lower on Nasdaq, and it's been in our trend for a while, which is actually the correct idea to have right now. For Bitcoin, see that triple top here, and the moment we broke lower from the contract opening gap, I knew it smelled like trouble for Bitcoin. But I was not willing to trade it because of some of my proprietary firm limitation. So we definitely as a trader, and if you look at the current price right now, we have a minus 0.64% even on a Saudi, which shows that there's still some energy left to sell, and people are going to risk off. We have value established lower. The only scenario where I see where we can trade higher on Bitcoin if we accept above this monthly opening gap. So this is a very strong level to look out for. So that is my analysis on the 5 assets I trade, like I said. So please do I would like to hear comments. Let's tell me what you think as well. I will try to post my trade ideas on a Telegram group. And also I'm considering starting to publish my idea on TradingView as well. So please like the video, subscribe if you value content like this and you want other people to see it, share it if you have friends who are interested in speculation, and just generally let's go together. Let me know if you think something else apart from what I think. I'm an adept learner and I would like to learn from you too. Thank you so much for your time in watching this video. Good luck and good trade. I'll see you guys next week. Bye for now.